れがアバはやったことだと思うので、何十年も前にアバがそれができてたので、素晴らしい。それを引き継いでいると思います。本当に何も知らないんですけど、アバとアビーチの関連性とかはありますからね、つながってるところって。全く関係ない音楽をくっつけるっていうことでは、アバもそうだったので、アバはアバで有名だけど、イギリス人の人がアバの音楽を作ってミュージカルを一本作ってしまうわけじゃないですか。マンマミーヤっていう、そういうことも含めて、アバを知らなくてもマンマミーヤでアバの曲を知ってとかっていうような、それも僕はもう今の21世紀も含めてその広がっていくフュージョンというか、音楽が広がっていく素晴らしい最先端のプロモーションというかでもあると思います。
さて、そろそろスウェーデンとつないでもいい時間になってきましたか。ではちょっとこの場を譲って少し準備にお時間いただきます。スウェーデンと中継の準備をしてください。
Hej Björn!
Hej!
Hör du oss? That is a really great Swedish pre-summer setup.
Yes, I thought, I was told that this was going to be an orgy in Swedishness. So I thought, what could be better than the Stockholm archipelago in the background?
It's wonderful. So I'm sitting here in a full Alfred Nobel auditorium at the Swedish Embassy in Tokyo. And the room is packed with industry professionals. So we have just heard the new Swedish success band here in Japan, Dirk the Loops, talk about their music. And by my side, I have the Swedish ambassador to Japan, Mr. Lars Vargö. Hello, very nice to talk to you.
Your ambassador.
Yes, and yeah, it's a great pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, great.
We have some questions to you about the Swedish music export. There's also representatives from the Japanese media here, and when you won in 1974 in Brighton, I know that you have said that obviously a great song is it's always what it all begins with. But you have also said that you thought about the clothing at that time. Is that true?
Did I think about the outfits?
Yeah.
Well, we, you know, that was the glam rock era in the beginning, middle of the 70s, and everyone, all groups dressed up, you know, as outrageously as possible, and we did too. And we thought, you know, that in the Eurovision, it was a matter of being remembered afterwards. So that's why we had the star-shaped guitar and the outrageous outfits. But of course, we also had a very unusual song for the Eurovision, and that helped as well.
So the year before, you tried with another song that didn't make it to the final. What happened between that first song and the writing of Waterloo. Were you so determined to win, or were you just looking for a great song?
Always looking for a great song. That's the first thing. That's the first priority. But I would say that we were quite lucky that we didn't win with Ring Ring, which was in '73, because we were much better prepared in '74 to conquer the world, as it was.
So, talking about professionality, we can see here with your wonderful Swedish archipelago setup that you still care a lot about the details. Is that an important part in songwriting also?
It most definitely is. You know, some people, some writers, they think that when they have a great chorus, they kind of think that's enough. Whereas we always thought that every little bit of each song is as important. So the verse, the bridge, the intro, whatever, everything we never released a song. We never thought a song was finished until all the parts were there.
So the era that you actually started pushing Swedish songwriting out there in the world, can you see any similarities in the way you worked back then with the songwriting process as of today?
I'm sure that some people still work the same way that Benny Andersson and I did, which was, you know, with a guitar and a simple piano, just you know, playing away the whole day long until something would come up. But also today there's a different way of writing. Songwriters all over the world, they send stuff to each other, and someone adds something and then they send it to a third person, and so that third person adds something as well. It's a completely new way of songwriting, but it's intriguing and very interesting, and it's what Max Martin and his colleagues are doing. You know, Max Martin with Oops, I Did It Again and all of those great hits.
So, talking about the environment, I have to talk to you about that because it's such a beautiful picture that you send over here. And I know for sure that Benny and you sat in almost exactly that kind of environment, writing a lot of ABBA songs. Is that an important?
Yeah.
Is that an important part of the writing also, where you are when you do it?
Not necessarily. Yes, it's true that Benny and I did a lot of writing in an environment like this, but we also did some really good stuff in Benny's basement, in his villa, and we had this tiny room in the beginning in Stig Andersson's office. So if you're ambitious enough and you feel you're burning for what you're doing, then you can write almost anywhere.
Well, before taking a few questions from the audience, let me ask you something about the lyrics also. You have written so many pop lyrics, and I know that there's usually not a recipe for how to do it. But is there something that you have learned that you can share with us? Something that you have learned over the years, putting a great pop lyric to a great pop song?
Well, the basic thing I think for me was to listen to let the actual tune tell me what it wanted to be about. The way we did this was that we used to write the music together, and once we had a few good songs, just the melody, no lyrics at all, we would go into the recording studio, we would record a backing track with perhaps 3 musicians, and then Benny would do a couple of overdubs with strings and stuff. And then I would bring that home with me, and I would play it over and over again. And usually, you know, that song, the melody itself suggested a lyric. And by intuition, I would get that. And then I would, you know, look at it, is this a good idea? If I thought it was, I would continue working on it and elaborating and writing a whole lyric. That's the way I did it. And, well, my advice would be, you know, listen to the melody. It's got something in it that says what it's about.
Wonderful, thank you. So now there is a museum over you and your friends in Stockholm. And you have told me that it was a little bit awkward in the beginning to really set the museum up in your own hometown. And now it's there. It has been open for 1 year. It's a huge success. Quite a few people come there every day. What can you say about having your own museum in your own city?
Well, as you said, it was awkward. I thought, you know, it's a little unusual to build a museum of yourself. But now I find it entirely natural. Everyone should have a museum.
So thank you so much for being with us today. I take a few questions from the audience, a few quick ones. Anyone? Yes?
If I may. Hi, nice to meet you. My name is JJ, I'm English. There was a big hit a couple of years ago for a Korean artist called Gangnam Style. It was a Korean song in Korean, which was a hit all around the world. Do you think the time is coming where we may be able to have, you know, a Japanese album that becomes a hit around the world in the same way?
Oh yes, it could happen as we speak. Totally, things that will be totally surprising to the whole world will crop up. You know, no one knows where the next Gangnam Style come from.
We're happy to see that we have one of the other great songwriters and producers from Sweden here in the audience, Mr. Andreas Karlsson. Do you have a question for Björn today?
Yes, finally I get to ask this question. How are you?
I ask away.
I was part of the Sharon team and the Max Martin team when we started, and all we did all day was to listen to ABBA music. And, you know, we were happy to be a bunch of people that could influence one another, and I was lucky to be around very, very prolific songwriters to learn the craft of lyrics and how to write inner rhymes and all of that stuff. But how did you, on your own in Stockholm in the 70s, get sort of the inspiration to write these amazing songs? That's, you know, a question I wanted to ask for maybe 15 years.
Well, I think part of what I told you earlier was the secret, and there is a story within every song. I think every melody. It's just a matter of capturing it, and it's the very same thing as with the melody itself. It's out there. It's in thin air before you capture it, and the same goes for a lyric. Let yourself be inspired and write away. Don't be afraid. Don't think commercially. Don't think that it just has to be, you know, I love you, I want to kiss you, and so forth. Think story. That's what I did.
Thank you so much, Björn. And I don't think that you are preparing to taking a dip in the water because it's still too cold, isn't it?
Oh no, it's not. Today it's about 20 degrees, something like that. So it's almost a summer's day in the Stockholm archipelago. All Japanese tourists should come here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for today. See you next week, Björn.
席の方にお戻りいただきますか。さあこれよりまたトークショーの続きをさせていただきたいと思います。さあ皆様。
アーキペラゴはビョルンさんのものなんですよね。一つ島をお持ちでいらっしゃる。羨ましいですね。でこうなると小室さんもダーティループスの皆さんミュージアムを建てなくてはいけないということになりましたね。はい。
いや
さて、最後のトピックでその北欧ミュージックっていうのはすごく世界で最大の音楽輸出国であると言われたり、世界の中でも非常に有名であると言われるんですけど、それにはいくつか理由があるようなんですね。一つスウェーデン政府のホームページを見ましたら8つの理由があると書いてありまして、そのうちの一番最後に書いてあったのが The ABBA Effect ということで、ABBA の影響が大きいというふうに書いてありました。ダーティループスの皆さん皆さんにとって ABBA というのはどういう存在だったですか？
I think it was the foundation of Swedish pop music, so it's obviously had a huge impact, and yeah, they were fantastic songs, and yeah, they influenced basically every writer in a way, I think, in Sweden after they were around. So yeah, it's the most important band in Swedish history.
間違いないですね。でも日本人結構アバのことスウェーデンのアーティストと思ってない人もいるみたいですね。小室さんはやっぱりスウェーデンのアーティストとして聞いてらっしゃいました？
いや聞いてないですね。完全にハリウッド発みたいな印象はあったですね。
世界アーティスト
あまりにもなんていうかな、完成されてたっていうか、そのポップミュージック、ポピュラーポップミュージックとしてなんかインフルエンスのモータウンのインフルエンスみたいなのも感じたし、であとはジョルジオ・モルダーっていうプロデューサーのそのミュンヘンサウンドみたいなダンスミュージックの基本ですよね。ユーロビートみたいなことですけども、みたいなものも感じたり、もうアングルであらゆる音楽に聞こえるんですけど、それでポップなので、これはコンプリートされているものはこれ絶対ハリウッドだろうと思って。
私もそうです。さらにはやっぱそのスウェーデンって音楽をすごく聴く国民のようで、そのいくつかの理由がある。政府がロックミュージック好きとか、ソングライターがねたくさんスウェーデンで活躍しているとか、あるいは小さい頃にコーラス隊で歌うっていうことが、皆さんやられるそうです。そして、公立の音楽学校というのはすごく発展してまして、ダーティループスの皆さんも公立の音楽学校で音楽を勉強されたということです。
Yes. Sorry, it takes a while until we come. Yeah, we all attended this. Me and Henrik attended the same school first too, with Olofsriks Musikklasse, which is a music school for choir people who sing in choir from the 4th grade till 9th grade, and then. I don't know, did you go to one of those schools?
No, I did not.
No. It's also with the public music schools, they have this system where you could pay a small fee to go take lessons for every year. There are a lot of people do. It's kind of the same thing as a soccer team or whatever. So people do it, so there's a lot of people playing instruments, and I think that has a huge part of the music industry in Sweden.
29% 以上のティーンエイジャーが楽器を演奏するっていうのが趣味だという答えるのがスウェーデンということで、日本もぜひそういうふうになってほしいですね。ダンスミュージックのプロデューサーが増えるといいですかね、大村さん。
そうですね。今のさっきもお話があったけど、すごく なんですかね、キャパシティが広い方ですよね。そのソフトシンセ、ソフトっていうかプログラムのギターだけとか演奏楽器じゃなくても、そのコンピューターっていうか今のプログラムの作曲の人のみんなどんな人でもいいっていうのが強いっていう面白いっておっしゃってたので、全部にそうだともうダンスミュージックのは多分簡単に作れるから、もう多分スウェーデンの方たちは多分リミックスとかでポップな曲を簡単にダンスミュージックにリミックスとかできるんじゃないですかね。
ああ、そうです
ね。もうそういう練習もできてるんじゃないかなと思います。そうですね。今の EDM の DJ とかの人たち、スウェーデンの人たちとかを聞いてると、スウェディッシュハウスマフィアもうちょっと解散しちゃいましたけど、とかもう皆さんもう完全に、教育エデュケーションがダンスミュージックもちゃんと分かってる。でポップなものも分かってる。どうやってエモーショナルにするかっていうのも全部、分かってるっていうのは素晴らしいなって。勉強も得意にしちゃってるっていう感じなんで、
そうですね。
素晴らしいと思うんですよ。早いですね。グローイングアップが。
そうですね。子供の頃からそういうふうに音楽に普通に接してて、Spotify っていうのもその一部かもしれないんですけど、いろんな音楽、いろんなジャンルの音楽を聴いて育つとそういうふうになれるのかもしれません。日本もぜひそういう環境に僕たちもしていきたいなと思っています。はい、ということで今日のトークセッションをここまでさせていただきたいんですが、マイクを譲りまして皆様からの質問をお受けしたいと思っております。ではお願いします。
とても素晴らしいお話をたくさん伺うことができて、皆さんも楽しい時間だったと思いますが、たくさんご質問があるかと思いますが、短めにお願いしたいと思います。で、ご質問のある方は手を挙げていただけますでしょうか。
大使館の方からお送りいただいたダーティーリップスの YouTube のクリップを何曲か見させていただいたんですけど、特にパッと思ったのはスティービー・ワンダーのボーカルですね。それとあと昔あったブリティッシュのクリームっていう3人のプロジェクトがあったんですけれども、その2つ2アーティストクリームとか、スティービー・ワンダーについて皆さんが好きかどうか何かコメントいただければと思います。
Well, yeah, absolutely. We like Stevie Wonder, and for me, that's obvious because, yeah, I sound a little bit like him. But as it comes to Queen, I absolutely like Queen, but it's not a band that I have been listening to that much. Queen? Oh, not Queen.
Sorry. So, Eric Clapton?
Okay, then I'm not sure. I heard
Yeah, but I heard them, but I don't think there's. They haven't been a huge influence to us, I guess. They've been around, but Stevie for sure has been a very huge influence on all of us.
ありがとうございました。他にご質問ございますか？私の方から質問させていただいてもよろしいですか？ダーテー・レブスさんは次は日本にいつ来られますか
I think it's late June. We try to go here once every month, so we gotta keep that tradition alive.
そしたらまた大使館にも遊びにいらしてください。お待ちしています。
We will.
では、大体1時間ぐらいの楽しいトークセッションでしたけれども、これをもちまして終了させていただきたいと思います。今回は本当に、急な企画で皆さん来てくださる方がちょっと心配だったんですけれども、マスコミ関係の方を中心にたくさんの方にお集まりいただくことができまして、スウ スウェーデンの音楽産業に対する関心が非常に高いということを実感しましたということと同時に、本当に今回のご登壇者の皆様、お客様、そしてご関係者の皆様、どうもありがとうございました。
最後に一つだけを。
これから大使から最後の一言いただきたい。ごめんなさい。
1988年ぐらいに僕はロンドンに住んでたんですが、その時にTM ネットワークという今もやってるグループがいるんですが、その時に一人女性のオーディションをやりまして、キャストが必要で、オーディションをロンドンでやってたんですが、その時にもう誰もいなかったんです、会う人が。それで最後に歩いてきて、終わる時に歩いてきて、私のダンスを見てくれって言ってくれて人がスウェーデンの方で女性だったんですね。その方が受かってですね、受かったというか素晴らしい方だったので、25年ぐらい前ですかね。その方はいまだにスウェーデンで国内でエンターテインメントの仕事されてるんですけれども、
日本国内で
スウェーデン
国内で、
元気にやってらっしゃるんですけれども、なので最初の出会いはそのスウェーデンのエンターテインメントの出会いはその女性の方だったんですけれども、すごく感謝しています。
それではありがとうございます。これより3階に校庭のところですけど、小さな、レセプションが用意してあります。We have a small reception prepared for you up on the third floor. So my wife and I would like to welcome you to some Swedish food and some French drinks. So most welcome.
さんとマティアさんと小室哲哉さんでした。
すごい寒かったです。冷蔵庫みたいですね。スウェーデンものでした。そうだ、そうですよね。